This was some devil magic BS that sometimes over the course of 162 games, you need to win a game. You need the bad team to do bad things in order to win some of these games. One Royal Way back at it here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank you all so much for tuning in, whether you are on YouTube or you're an audio listener on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Make sure you are subscribed and you hit those notification bells so you know when these episodes go up. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're hitting that like button as well. That helps grow the channel, get more people to see it. I appreciate all the support this season, doing multiple episodes a week like this. I've had a lot of fun with it. You guys seem to be enjoying it, so we're along for the ride. We're nearing the quarter pole of the season, so we're off and rolling, and we're not stopping yet. This show, as always, brought to you by Emprise Bank, member FDIC, our partners in Possible here at Kansas City Sports Network and this podcast as well, and we can't thank them enough for their support. I'm recording about 15 minutes after the Royals game ended on Tuesday night against the White Sox, an absolutely wild game that they ended up walking off. Had probably no business winning that game, but the White Sox did White Sox things, and the Royals won it. And normally, whenever I do these episodes, I go in chronological order of the games. So the game on Monday, then the game on Tuesday, and preview the next two. I think I just have to hop right in and talk about the game on Tuesday, and we'll work backwards. I'm going to go ahead, and I did not plan to, but I'm going to pour a little Ben Holiday soft red wheat here now and just kind of sip on this as we're discussing this game, because the tenor of the episode changed significantly in the last 20 minutes. I kind of was going to come in. I was probably going to do this thing in reverse order. And I mean, it would have been an unacceptable, terrible loss if that was the way that it was going to go. And it was kind of trending that way. The offense had no answers for Sean Burke. And to his credit, he pitched pretty well. He doesn't do a lot of things. There's not a lot that jumps off the page, but clearly there's a feel to pitch. He's got a really good changeup. He was keeping guys off the barrel, and, there was some luck involved. And he ripped a couple. Bobby really didn't do anything until the last at bat of the game. He really didn't look comfortable in the box at all tonight. He didn't put a good swing on anything until late in that one. Michael went hitless. Really, the only things we saw were a couple of bunts from Freddie Fermin. That was the only thing we really had offensively. There just wasn't a lot to speak of. They were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position until the ninth inning when they finally got a couple. Seth Lugo was not. He did not pitch very well today. And to his credit, he gets into the seventh inning. He scatters 7 hits. He walked 3, only struck out 3. And so a couple of those walks came back to bite him, and that's where the 2 runs came from. And it was not an outing where he looked sharp at all. And it really looked like he had been turning a corner over the last handful of starts to being the guy that we saw most of last season. And tonight was just kind of a step backwards from that. It's not like he pitched poorly. Like, his floor for where he is as a pitcher is still fairly high compared to a lot of guys. But it was not the outing you would have expected from Seth Lugo, or what you needed from Seth Lugo coming into this game. The command was really spotty. The walks attribute to that, but he missed the arm side a lot. Normally his misses are not drastic, and when he does miss, it's like just off the plate, or it's off the plate to set something else up. But he missed off the plate a lot with pretty much all of his pitches, or they were hanging up in the zone quite a bit. And for throwing 98 pitches, he only got 5 whiffs. The called strike whiff rate was 23%, which is really low. So to not get your best outing from your starter, and they went to Angel Serpa in the 7th to get out of the inning, and he did. He worked it was a tough battle against Lania Sosa, and wins the battle. And it's like, okay, now they're probably gonna go to a Schreiber or an Ursig, something like that, keep it close. It's 2-1, and with the top of the order coming up in the 8th, you're gonna have a chance. And they went back to Angel Serpa, which he has been better as of late, but I don't think that's the point. He has not really done anything this year, for the most part, to prove he can handle these higher leverage spots. We've seen that most of the year. And And like I've talked about before, I'm not generally one to complain about bullpen usage because Q can't throw the pitch for him. Brian Sweeney can't throw the pitch for them. Like if they're going out there, they have to execute. And I'm going to blame the pitcher over the manager for putting him in there. And Serpa came out. He strikes out Edgar Caro to start the eighth, but then gives up a hit to Andrew Vaughn, strikes out Palacios, and then gives up the bunt hit. And it was a situation where they probably needed to go get him, and they didn't. It was one batter too long, and I'm generally a one batter early mentality. Gives up the hit to Josh Rojas on a 50 hopper to the left side, and where they had kind of played him to pull a little bit, and he just found the open spot, run scores. It's 3-1. And with the way the offense had played, and even with the top of the order coming up, it didn't feel great with the way it had gone to that point. And it looked like it was about to be a completely unacceptable loss, and it was going to be a completely brutal spot to be for this team. And even though they've been playing well as of late, like you can't lose this game to this team. The White Sox are improved, but that's a super low bar to clear. Like they're still going to be a team that flirts with 9,500 losses. And you're not going to sweep a team 13-0, over the course of a season. But this would have been a pretty damning loss, even with how well the Royals have played lately. Now, to the Royals' credit, they continued to fight. They could have rolled over and died when it was 3-1, even with top of the order coming up, and just, hey, this one sucks, on to tomorrow. But Vinny takes a 2-out walk. Salvi drives him in. Some lackadaisical defense in left field from Brooks Baldwin. The run scores. It's 3-2. You're feeling a little better. And it looked like the Royals were going to tie it in the eighth. Michael hit a ball really well. Jake Lamaya made a great play. And you're moving on to the ninth. Shout out Taylor Clark, who looked like this was just going to be a quick little, spot in the big leagues, cup of coffee, and then back down. He gets out, quick ninth inning, gets the guys right back up, kind of keeps some of that momentum going. Cam Boozer comes in to close, and Ryan Lefebvre mentioned it on the broadcast. This was only the fifth save opportunity that the White Sox have had this year. So in the previous four, they only converted one of them. They had blown the other one. They had blown the three other save ops. So this is only their fifth time. They haven't been in this situation much this year. A lot of the White Sox wins have come from them just kind of putting a couple crooked numbers on the board, and their pitching is good. Ethan Katz is a good pitching coach. They have some talent there, and they end up, they end up winning the game like 8-2 or 8-0. They did that to the Brewers recently. Ninth inning comes up. Mark Canha pinch hits for Kevin Biggio with the lefty up. Works a walk, as Mark Canha does. Shout out to Mark Canha that's a pro at bat in the ninth inning, 1-run game, to have the patience to work a walk there. That's very impressive. Then the play of the game. Well, if you're a Royals fan, it's the play of the game. If you're a White Sox fan, I don't know how you're a White Sox fan after this happens. Drew Waters pops the ball to Chase Meidroth at second base. And Chase Meidroth, Jose Canseco did. Hit off his forehead. And falls. Canha sprinting to second. Taylor's throw airmails. You got first and second, nobody out. Freddie Fermin comes up, doing a job. Small ball bunt. You're thinking second and third, 1 out with 9-1 coming up. And the third baseman got caught in between on the bunt. And bases loaded again as Boozer looks to throw to third. He's not on the bag. There's no play at first. The only thing missing from this ninth inning was yakety sacks. Isbell pops out. India, hits the ball pretty hard. Maya makes a diving play, but he's not able to get the flip to Meidroth. Everybody's safe. Tie game. Bobby comes up, hits a ball over Luis Roberts' head, and you win a ball game. This was some devil magic BS that sometimes over the course of 162 games, you need to win a game. You need the bad team to do bad things in order to win some of these games. And this is like that win they had against the Rockies a couple of weeks ago that on paper, it's not pretty. And when you watch the game, it's like, I don't know how they won that. They didn't deserve to win that. This falls into that bucket, but it's another win. And it is showing that this team still has that same quality that was indicative of the 2024 Royals, which was they are never out of a ball game. And the pitching is going to do their damnedest to keep them in, even though Angel Serpa really struggled, tonight, especially in that 8th inning. That notwithstanding, they're going to find themselves in a lot of these opportunities because of what the pitching presents and what this lineup and this mentality of, never down sort of what this group is going to continue to provide. So a ton of credit to them for finding a way to scrap one together. And it sure as hell took the White Sox going from a pro team to a Legion ball team that plays on Wednesday nights at the local Sandlot. Like that's what this turned into. I haven't seen defense that poor in the big leagues in quite a long time, and it happened all in one inning, and it led to the Royals winning a game. And to the Royals' credit, they took advantage of it. You have to. When your enemy is making a mistake, you don't question it. And that's what the Royals were able to do tonight. It was not a pretty game. They did not play well for the most part tonight, but still found a way to win a game. This is the kind of stuff that isn't going to fly against Tigers. It's not going to fly against the Yankees. It's not going to fly against the Mariners or other upper tier teams in the American League. But when you play the White Sox and you take advantage of their mistakes, you're able to scratch wins across. And winning is an infectious thing. This is now 13 of 15 wins. How they got to this, sometimes it's one of life's great mysteries, but you find a way to win a game, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. You take the wins where you can get them, that's for sure. And they've now won. They're 21-16 now, and continuing to head on up in the American League Central and then the wild card. Now we're going to work backwards, talk about the game on Monday right after this.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story. Like Bryan Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Bryan Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
It's playoff time, and if you're still just watching games, then you're missing out. With Pick 6 from DraftKings, you can turn your hoops knowledge into real cash. Just make your picks, track your score, and if you hit all 6, you're looking at bigger payouts than Prize Picks flex plays. Nobody's dropping better payouts than Pick 6. Hit 6 picks, and that's 25 times your cash. And if you beat your competitor, you could be looking at a 500 times bag in your pocket. And right now, new customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. The playoffs are on, so why not take a shot at making a little money while you're watching? Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks. Better payouts, bigger wins, only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Make sure you're subscribed on all audio and video platforms and turn on those notification bells so you know when these episodes go up and you know when we go live. And I'm going to say it now so we get more people in there. Thursday night, 8:30 Central, I will be live on the YouTube channel to talk about the remaining 2 games of this series against the Chicago White Sox and previewing the series against the Boston Red Sox coming up to close out the homestand. Royals won on Monday 3-0. This was a well-pitched game across the board. Cole Reagans made the start for the Royals after he had skipped his last one because of the groin injury, and he didn't show any signs of slowing down. Now, there was some stuff in this game, some pitch inefficiency, but sometimes that comes with the territory. With Cole Reagans at this point, I kind of bake in every couple of starts you're going to see something like this from him. But it's his first start back after 10 days off. Like, there is some of that. But a lot of things to like. The fastball was up to 98. He averaged 95. It was just a tick, not even a tick, like 0.3 miles an hour below season average, which has been 95 and a half. But a lot of 94, 95, some 96, 97 when he was able to reach back and get it. He had a really good feel for the changeup. The slider was good for him. He had 17 whiffs in this game on 48 swings, and 24 of those other swings were foul balls, which is frustrating because that's what drives the pitch count up. But that also shows how tough he is to hit because you can't square him up. You have such a hard time squaring him up because of the fastball with the elite characteristics, the changeup that plays off of it, the cutter slider that he has working as well. He threw the knuckle curve a little more than we've seen in the past. That was probably just a game plan thing, but a lot to like. Seems like he's back on track. 11 strikeouts in 5 innings. I mean, that's a crazy number. He has 4 10-plus strikeout games this season in 7 starts. He's been on a tear and has still asserted himself as one of the best pitchers in the league. He had a couple clunkers in there against I wouldn't call the Rockies one a clunker because he kind of got hurt, but he had the clunker against the Tigers, got back on track after a little time off, and is back to being the Cole Reagans that we saw. John Schreiber pitched the 6th, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this because this is a very different John Schreiber than what we've seen last year, what we became accustomed to last year. I touched on it a little bit on Sunday, but we saw it again on Monday night. When John Schreiber is throwing 95 to 96, 94, he's a very different pitcher. That is a tough angle to pick up and to square up when it's 95, 96. I don't know if he's just unlocked something. I don't know what this is because this is not the velo that we've seen from him. It was a lot of 90 to 92 last year, and even the cutter was 88. It was averaging 90 to 91 yesterday. The sinker was averaging 95, and when you have that big sweeper from that long, he's got long levers, that long sidewinder angle. He's a very, very different pitcher. He got 5 whiffs in 1 inning, a couple of strikeouts, looked really good, and only 1 ball in play. It was a weak ground ball. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep this up. I want to see it over, a little larger sample, but this is a really interesting development for him, working his way back into some more leverage because of the added velocity. And the average velocity makes you more effective. Velocity is not everything, and I'm not sitting here trying to preach that, but velocity increases your margin for error. And when you have a greater margin for error as a pitcher, it makes you more successful. That's why guys chase velo now, because it is a hell of a lot harder to hit 98 than it is 93. And it's a hell of a lot harder to hit 95 from a sidearm angle than it is 90. Even with that, like, there are very rare guys that are able to make that lower velo work. That's why guys throw from certain different angles and throw sink, cut, whatever, from these different spots and slots to give them an added advantage and increase that margin for error. And Schreiber, with that angle, with the added velocity, very interesting. Steven Cruz went out and threw a great 7th inning, and this was when the game was still 2-0. This was a higher leverage spot for him. We've seen him in it a couple of times now, but he's continuing to earn that trust. He threw 100 miles an hour. The fastball averaged 98 and a half. The slider, he threw a 95 mile an hour slider, guys. And the slider he threw for the strikeout was 91 that started on the middle of the plate. It looked like a heater just dove, and it had some really sharp break at the end and got the strikeout. And he continues to look comfortable. He looks like he is confident. This is a guy that is just going to continue to get better and is going to continue to earn these opportunities. Now, it's going to get really interesting when Hunter Harvey comes back. Sounds like he's going to go on a rehab assignment possibly next week. And then there's a little bit of a roster crunch because Schreiber continues to pitch well. Lynch has pitched well. This might be where Taylor Clark goes back, and you insert it there, and they're just waiting for the right time to cut bait with Chris Stratton whenever it comes to it. But this is now, I mean, Steven Cruz has gone from a quad A depth piece to looking like he's a real piece in this bullpen for the rest of the season. As the sample grows, we'll see how he continues to adapt as there's a little more of a book out on him. But 6'7", throwing 100 with a slider in the low to mid 90s, it's a pretty good recipe for some success. Daniel Lynch threw a solid 8th. I mean, this game was just well pitched all around, and some of this is just taking advantage of a White Sox offense that is pretty poor. But I wanted to hit specifically on Schreiber and Cruz because that was a very key spot in this game. Ursa got thrown back-to-back days. They weren't going to use Estevez until the 9th. They had to burn some bullpen because of the short start from Lorenzen the previous day. So overall, I mean, this was a really solid game for this team, even though it was only 3 runs. Still felt like they were in control for the most part. Michael still doing his thing. 2 walks. He's seeing the ball really well. He had a hit and an RBI early on this one. Bobby gets 2 hits with an RBI. Drew Waters with some insurance with an RBI double in the 8th. But other than that, not a ton offensively. There's only 7 hits in the game. I talked about 5 of them. Indy had a couple of hits. It seems like he's starting to see the ball a little better. A little bit of a tougher night tonight, but seems like the at-bats are continuing to stack. And again, I talked about on Sunday, the floor with him is pretty high because he's going to walk. He's going to work good plate appearances even on nights when he's not necessarily hitting. He's going to see 20 pitches over the course of 4 at-bats. So a lot to like there. Next 2 games, I'll get the probables here. I think I talked about them the other day, but want to make sure that reiterates for those that want to know. It's another 6:40 first pitch tomorrow night. Jonathan Cannon against Michael Wacha. And then on Sunday, it's Chris Bubich against Davis Martin. Look for a sweep. That's the hope here. Take advantage of the softer part of your schedule before it tightens back up and it gets a little more difficult again. I expect a sweep, but even 3 or 4, it's hard to be upset about that. When you win that series, it's tough to sweep 4 in a row, even against bad teams. So this is where the Royals have to continue to take advantage of it for the Red Sox come to town. Even though they're not playing that great right now, that's still a super talented ball club. So we'll see what happens there. One more note before I get out of here. Jac Caglianone had 2 home runs today. He now has 8 home runs. Both of them looked like he mishit them, and he hit them out of the ballpark to left field. The guy's incredible. It's now hitting over 320, OPS and over 1,000. The weighted runs created plus is going to be over 160 now. I don't know what else to say about the guy. He continues to impress. He is forcing this. He's going to be forcing this front office's hand. JJ said that they're going to they're taking it slow. They don't want to rush. They're not going to, jump to send him to AAA just because they feel like they have to. But he's playing it's getting to a point where he's playing his way to AAA, and he's going to force their hand to be like, look, this isn't challenging anymore. And it seems like it's getting to that point with some of the at-bats and some of the quality that he's starting to put together. The batted ball, and it's not just overwhelming power and hit the ball over the fence. It's driving singles to left field. It's working walks. It's seeing pitches and not chasing. He just continues to evolve and get better, and it's exactly what you could have asked for with him going to AA. Before we get out of here, we'll go ahead and do our Toast Game segment brought to you by Holiday Distillery. I've been sipping on it a little bit tonight. Soft Red Wheat is my favorite bottle of bourbon. Be sure to go and find it at any of your local liquor stores here in Kansas City. I am going to toast into Cole Reagans. An amazing start yesterday, even though it only went 5. Despite some pitch inefficiency, 11 strikeouts, looked as dominant as we've seen him. And I know that he's going to continue to get better. And a couple more starts like this, he's going to insert himself back into that Cy Young conversation. I'm not going to be shocked by that at all. As we move forward, he has been one of the best pitchers in the American League since coming to the Royals. So it's going to continue. And I'm also going to toast game the White Sox defense in the ninth inning. Thank you very much, because the Royals needed that. And so Chase Mydroth, that one's going to be on highlight reels for a while, buddy. And not necessarily the highlight reels that you want to be on. That might have been a little mean. Whatever. That's going to do it for One Royal Way tonight. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, listening, wherever you are, however you may be listening or watching. Thank you for making this part of your day moving forward. And we're going to, so we'll be live on Thursday night. I appreciate everybody, and I will talk to you soon, hopefully after a couple more Royals wins.